What's going on, y'all? Old Gearhead here, coming at you live from High Point. Well, not technically live, but I'm here live. We found ourselves our first rodeo. Not first rodeo in general. We'll walk up to the old girl. Sorry for not looking at you guys while I'm talking. Got to pay attention to where I'm walking. Make sure I don't trip on anything. But we found us a 1966 Buick Special Sedan. See if we can't bring her back to life and see if she'll make it home. Well, this is it, y'all. 1966 Buick Special. She's a four-door variety. Light blue. Got a little mold and mildew on her. Been sitting out here for about a year and a half. Give you a little background on her. She was pulled out of a storage unit for non-payment of the old rent. You guys know what happens when you don't pay that rent. This recovery company ended up with it, and we're there on their overflow lot checking her out. Looks like the tire's still on the bead there. We may try to throw some air in that and get her up off the ground a little bit more. But she's pretty well intact. She's got a little, feeling of the old clear coat and paint. That's some thick paint, you know. They don't paint cars that well anymore. They come out with all that orange peel on them. Make a guy polish on them for a while trying to get them back cleaned up. She's a 99,000 mile car. We believe that to be true. Yeah, the interior's not all worn and beat up on her. It's actually a pretty good specimen here. Hubcap laying there on the floor. Oh, we got some ants. You guys see that? Just doing their thing, collecting on the food, taking it back to the old nest. As you can see, the interior of this old girl's pretty good. Pretty good shape. We'll get in there a little later though. This old shoe looks like she come off her bead. We'll try to get the back end up off the ground and see if we can't take care of that. She's a big beauty, isn't she? As far as we know, she's been sitting undriven since 2014. A guy drove her into the storage unit, so we're told. Of course, it was towed here by the recovery company. Got an old truck behind us here. A little short on the room to get around behind her. That old tire's holding air there. She's got her hubcap on. We got more ants. Look at these guys. Well, ants just a marching. We'll have to take care of that. Don't need any ants in the pants today. But I mean, look at the interior of this thing. Not bad. Got the old 6x9s in the back. That's not factory. That old aftermarket radio tacked onto the bottom of the dash there. At least they didn't take out the old original there. Left her intact. Nice solid doors closing. And we got more ants. All in all, she's not a real bad car. She's a factory air car. I doubt it works. That's alright. We'll do with what we can. Hopefully this old mare ain't gonna buck and kick and bronc too much on us. We'll just have to wait and see. It's a learning experience. Both me and you. Look inside the trunk, see if there's got any surprises for us back here. Never know what you might find in there. Oh yeah. We got our fourth hubcap. Box for a jump box. Like I said, the old hubcap there. We got a couple cases of water in here. No air cleaner cover. And air cleaner. Looks like we got an old nozzle off of the pay-as-you-go fuzzbuster units that you guys can go to. That'll come in handy later. Not quite sure what's in those jugs. We're gonna leave them alone for now. Nature granola bars. We got funnelage and some old screwdriver pack. You just never know what you're gonna find for these little girls. See what else we got in here before we move on. Engine bay. Uh-oh. Extra strength starting fluid. Means somebody's been cranking on her. We might just have a problem up there. We'll see if we can't figure it out there. Definitely not going to be using any of that. Probably will. Well, let's go get the hood open. See what's going on under there. Alright. We got the old hood open on the old girl. You guys will just have to bear with an old gearhead here, you know, with this videography stuff. Yeah, I'm not a professional. I work on cars. See if we can't bring them back to life, you know. What we're looking at, either 300 or a 340. The code numbers on the engine are a little covered up in some funk and oil and grime. Well, we'll get them cleaned off and figure out which one it is. You know, both of the engines were offered stock with Rochester 2GC there, fuel vaporizer. The 340 had an option for the old 4-barrel Carter, so we know it's, you know, original equipment. We got a factory air compressor here for the old AC. Check out the old Kool-Aid pitcher, see if we got anything in there. There's a little bit in there. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but that's a decent sign. It's dirty, but there's stuff in her. We're gonna flush on that anyway, so we'll probably just be adding water to the old pitcher there. Got a power steering pump here. See what we got going on in there. Yeah, she's actually got some fluid in there. Don't look too bad either. Check on the dipstick here. See what that looks like. Oh yeah. She's got oil in her. She's a little black, but she's got oil in her. That'll be just fine. Looks like the old choke's disconnected. The old vacuum's disconnected there as well. It looks like. We'll have to clean on that a little bit. I don't know if you guys can see that down in there. Old 2-barrel vaporizer. I'm going to be working in this general area right here for a while, checking on things, compression on the cylinders, checking the spark plug wires, checking the distributor, contact points, connections on the ignition coil down in there. And after we do some checking, we'll fire on the old girl and see if she will come back to life. Well, we've shown you what we're going to do on the old car. Old gearhead's going to get to work here, see if we can't get some things done today. Don't have a whole lot of time. Got an appointment for the paying gig. Keep this stuff going for you guys. I'm going to get to work on checking compression. Once I get first cylinder set up with that, I'll show you what I got going on. We're just going to show y'all if we find anything interesting. Pardon the tongue ties. We've got our first little hiccup for the day, if you want to call it that. The old gearhead here knew he's going to forget something, being his first rodeo away from the shop. But, you know, it happens. So we're going to do the smart thing. We're just going to leave the old spark plugs that are in there. But I know from taking the plug wires off that we've already got an issue with one of them. Pulled the old contactor right out of it when I took it off the old plug itself. I'll show you guys that real quick. So after I show you that, I'm just gonna go ahead and take the carburetor off. It's got some trash in it. We're gonna hose her down, a little bit of the old brake clean, slap her back on without a rebuild, because, you know, why not? See if we can't get this puppy to spin over a little bit. Alright, well, it already fell out again, but you can see there's no contact down in that boot right there for the spark plug. Nice and empty in there. You can kind of see the end of the wire itself in there. I'll show you a good one so you have a little reference point there. Well, you can't see that either. Just trust me, the old contact's gone out of that spark plug lead, so I'm going to replace that one and we'll see if the other ones are any good. Hopefully the spark plugs aren't too bad. We got the old fuel vaporizer off here. I'll bring her in a little closer. Maybe you guys can see the dirt going on in this sucker. A wise man probably take her apart and throw a rebuild kit in her right now, but I'm not going to do that. We're just going to clean her out. We're going to slap her back on. Not even going to change the gasket. See what happens, because why not? Just so y'all out there in YouTube land can see what I'm talking about. Got a little bit of dirt down in there. We're just going to get the old can of brake clean and hose her down and clean her out a little bit, and we'll throw her back on and see what happens. Don't let this stuff get in your eyes. Pretty nasty. That ought to do. We're back here with the old Buick. Pulled out the old battery. She's deader than that old possum you straddled on the way to work this morning. She was a Duralast professional. I don't know anything about them. We're gonna get this one out of the way. We're gonna put in the old Napa Power model. She was the cheapest one they offered. She's a 675 cold cranking amp at 32 degrees. Ought to be enough to turn this old baby over though. We'll just have to see. Got the carburetor cleaned back out, the old vaporizing unit. Got it put back on. Didn't put a new gasket in. We'll see how that turns out. You know, for you guys, this is mainly just entertainment. Anyway, I'm gonna get back to work sticking this battery in. Once we get her in, we'll all find out if she's got power or not. We've got our second little snafu here with the old Buick. I knew we'd come across these little things, but that's why we're here. That's why we're doing what we're doing. Show you guys what happens when you get involved in stuff like this. But I'll bring you in, we'll take a closer look at what's going on and what we're going to do to fix her, and temporary thing for now. Let's take a look. Old rusted battery terminal here. Had the vice grips on there. They're somewhere around here. There they are. Handy tool to keep in the toolbox, as well as the old adjustable spanner, as the British would call it. We got that guy laying right here. You know, we've used them both on this little project so far, but we broke the old nut off, old battery terminal. We're just going to stick it on though for now and pinch it down with the old pliers, see if we can get some juice to that starter and get this old girl to turn over. So I'm gonna get back to work. Just wanted to bring y'all in and show you what we came across. I'll bring you guys back in if we find anything else. Old gearhead here is getting ready to hook up negative terminal on the battery, so we're going to be doing a little sniffing and looking and watching and feeling for some smoke. Make sure we don't set this old girl on fire. That'd be a bad thing, wouldn't it? But we'll keep you guys around for that. You know, I'm just looking at all the electrical connections in here, making sure I don't see any smoke rolling up from anywhere. Don't smell anything. I'm not seeing anything out of the ordinary here. So we're just going to keep on going. I'm going to replace that plug wire that we know had the bad connector in it. We'll stick everything back together and see if the old girl will roll over. We've got the vaporizer back on. Got the plug wires back on. We got the battery in. So I'm going to climb in, girl, and hit the old ignition switch. See what happens. We got crankage. See if she'll fire for us before we go any further. You know, evaluating fuel system and all that good stuff. So I'm gonna get ready for that. Got an injector here, just an old gear oil bottle. You know, a nice tip, easy to aim. Get it right down in the vent and down in the old carburetor herself. Yeah, that's probably too much. Maybe give her a little more. Perfect. I don't know that we got a spark. We're going to hook up some diagnostic tools to check on that stuff, and I'll bring you guys back in once I get her hooked up and show you how we're checking on it. We're going to zoom y'all in on the old spark checker here. It's just a little test light, plugs onto the spark plug and then plugs into the lead from the old distributor cap over here. But the old girl ain't got any spark. So we're going to have to pull the distributor cap off and check out what's going on inside there. But I'll roll her over a few times with y'all sitting up there and so y'all can check it out. No light means no spark. So I'm going to get under here, get the distributor cap off, and check out the point center, check out the rotor, check out the cap itself, maybe replace on some of that stuff. The old gear head's got a sign out, so to speak. I think the old contact point center might be bad. We're going to have to get to that tomorrow. Need to do the old plug wires anyway. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. It's going to be a little while for me, but it'll be just a flash for y'all. Going on, y'all. Day 2 of the old rodeo here in High Point. She beat on us a little bit yesterday, but we'll see if we can't tame her down today. Spent most of my limited time yesterday wrestling with the old shoes on the old girl. Got them off and got them over to a shop. I'll show you what we got going on. We got the old shoes off. That was a bit of a rodeo in itself. Tried getting some air in them, but we'll just say this old gear head kind of lacks the gravitational pull to get the leverage needed to push the beads back on the inside of those wheels to get them aired back up. Yeah, I was sliding across the ground trying to push on them. But we took them back to the shop. We did manage to get them to bead, but they were leaking. So we dropped them off at the tire shop this morning. You know, all the stuff stored in the trunk there. She's up on jack stands in the back for the most part. But we're going to get back to work on her, replace those points, see if we can't get some electricity shooting through the old plug wires to the spark plugs, and I'm going to get back to work. Well, I've been shade treeing on the old girl again here. Took the old points out of the distributor. Looks like that could very well be our culprit. Zoom you guys in there. See that sucker's a little corroded and blacked up. Get a little flashlight in here for you. See that right there, y'all? All that carbon buildup on the old points there. That'll cause the old girl not to run. Y'all keep that in mind when y'all working on these old girls. We're gonna find out what happens here. Got the old trusty squirter drug again. Get some right down the old vent. That ought to do. See if old girl breathes some fire. Sounds like she wants to. See if she'll fire up. Might still have an issue. Of course, that spark plug I never replaced on that wire like I said I was going to yesterday. See what that does. At least we know she wants to live. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace on the spark plug wires. Maybe figure out some fuel, see what's going on here, and I'm gonna get back to work. We've been doing a little pulling on the fuel tank with the almighty vac. Keep the fuel out of your mouth, if you know what I mean. Stuff doesn't taste very good. This is what we're getting out. It's not terrible. There's a little bit of sediment down in the bottom of her. But all in all, not bad. I think I'm going to go ahead and hook the fuel line up to the fuel pump. See if the old fuel pump will bring it on up to the old vaporizing unit. Just wanted to show you what we came across though. I'm going to get back to work and sweat it out a little bit more. We've got the old fuel plumb back up, except for the old return line. She's got a sort of bypass valve on her in case she pumps too much fuel into the carburetor and return it back to the fuel line there. And the hose I've got is just a little too big for that one. Probably need a 1/4 inch on it. So I'll bring you guys in, show you what we did down there. Alright, now you can see the little fuel filter down in there. Gonna keep an eye on that, you know, while we're going down the road, make sure it doesn't build up too much trash. Take you underneath and let you guys see how it looks from under there. I'm gonna have to shorten up on that fuel line a little bit. Down here you can see the fuel filter there in line, just an old lawnmower variety, hooked up to the bottom of the fuel pump there. But over here you can see where it's kind of hitting the old steering arm there, pitman arm. So I'm going to shorten up that hose a little bit and hook her back up to the fuel pump, but we'll get it taken care of. Old gearhead here is going to go get some push water, as my grandfather used to call it. Also going to put a little fuel in the old belly here so I can keep going today. We're actually going to get a full day in today. Didn't yesterday. Had about 4 hours maybe. And as I said, when I brought you in today, I spent most of it wrestling around with the old chute. I'm going to get a bite to eat, go get some fuel and some 1/4 inch fuel hose for that return line. We'll come back and see if we can't get some fuel pumping up to the old vaporizer there. I've been working away here on the old Buick. Got some fresh fuel in the tank. We've primed it up to the pump. We've primed it up to the old vaporizer on top of the intake manifold there. See if she'll come to life for us. Check out the old fuel pump, see if it'll keep the old bowl full for us, so we can maybe try to drive this old girl home. But I'm gonna get to it. Alright, down the old vent tube. We're moving right along here on the old Buick. I called the parts store. They don't have the old mechanical pump in stock, so we've got an electric pump on order. Gonna have to do a little wiring and electricals on that to make sure we can make it work. Got the old Napa Gold oil filter here. They seem to work pretty good. We'll go ahead and spin this old guy on. We're gonna top her off with some oil. We're gonna fire her back up and make sure she'll still run for us. Remember to put a little clean oil on the old gasket here on the filter before you put it on. Keep it from getting stuck too tight. I do want to show you guys another tool that comes quite handy out here when you're working in the field like this. It's called an old chain vise. You can wrap this guy around just about anything. Oil filters, that old one was kind of stuck on there, if you know what I mean. Been on there a while. But you can also hold your fan, get your nuts loose. You can stick it on the old crank pulley and give her a turn if there's no belts on her. Just a real handy tool to have in the box. I'll go ahead and write the date and the current mileage on that filter when I get a pin that works. The one I had in the old go box dried up on the old gear head here. We're going to run Chevron D-Low here. It's a diesel oil, 1540. This stuff's still got the old good stuff that these gals like. We're also going to add a Coil Lucas heavy duty stabilizer here. You know, she hadn't run in a while. Those lifters could probably use some help. A little cleaning on them too. Just help stabilize the oil. Supposed to use it 20%. We're going to do 20%. That ought to do it. I like to give her a little shake. Mix that stuff up real good for us. That ought to take care of her. Just to hear her run one more time before I cut out of here for the day. Got to get over to the parts store and return some stuff and pick up some stuff like that old fuel pump. Maybe we can get the old girl home. Also got to pick up the tires this afternoon. But we'll check on the old bearings tomorrow. Once we get the tires on, we'll drop her down, see if we've got the old go forward and make her back up gears, and see if the old brakes are working. May have to address those, not quite sure just yet, but we'll figure it out. After I told you I was going to have to go get an electric pump, I went to cranking on her, and she's running on her own. Pumps are working. Just need a little time to get her all primed up. So I'm going to let her run a little bit, see if she'll open up the old thermostat, start circulating some water through the old radiator. We'll shine that light down there if y'all see it. Get you off that stand. And I'm going to hang out here while she warms up. I'm going to get a few things done, like check on the brakes and maybe check the old gear selector while the back end's up off the ground. See, the thermostat's probably already open. She's blowing some coolant around in the old pitcher there. She's also leaking. We're going to have to do something about that. The old drips down here on the ground, and you can see it kind of dripping out of the bottom there. It slows down a little bit now, but that doesn't mean she's going to stop. But hey, she's running on her own, fellas. Not bad for a 55-year-old mare. We hit the old forward reverse selector there, and we've got reverse and we've got forward. Still don't know if we got good brakes though. The old exhaust doing her thing back here. Sounding like a quiet old girl, like she should. The old lights don't work. Headlights do, but we got no markers or parkers, or probably no signals either. But we'll worry about that later. Just good to see the old girl running again. Old gearhead didn't realize what time it was getting to be. Got to shut her down. She's been running for about 30 minutes now. Coolant circulating like it should. Old Kool-Aid in there. Kool-Aid pitcher's full. He's still leaking a little bit. We're going to have to do something about that. But we'll probably put some stop leak in it and just carry some extra water with us on the old ride home. Worry about that when we get back there. And I'm going to shut her down, lock her up, clean up my mess here, go pick up some tires and return some parts. We'll get back at it tomorrow. What's going on, y'all? Day 3 here at the old High Point Rodeo. We're back with the Buick again. Got some tires in the back of the Jeep we're going to try to get put on today. Going to check those bearings first before we do that. Didn't get to that yesterday. Had to go pick up the tires and return some parts that I didn't use. So she's pretty much still sitting like we left her yesterday. Gonna hop in, see how she fires up. You know, it doesn't have a choke on it or anything, so it might give us a little trouble, but we'll just see how it goes. I'm gonna switch hands here with you and turn you around, and we'll go see how this old girl fires up for the first time. Temperature's pretty warm though, 73. May not need that old choke too much, but we'll just see what happens. I also want to disclose to y'all that I probably should have done it on day 1. I've got today and tomorrow to get this girl off the lot here. I'd really like to get it off today. We'll just have to see how that goes. It's about 1 o'clock. Let's hop inside and see how she does. Stick the old key in the switch here. Give her a few pumps on the old pedal there. See how she does. Not bad. Running pretty smooth actually. First fire up of the day. We got none of the dummy lights on over there. Oil, temperature, and generator. Of course, I really don't expect the temperature light to come on. The little wire on the sensor up there on the front of the intake manifold is broken, so we won't know if she's saying, "Hey, I'm hot." But we'll make some stops along the way home, just check things over. Make sure she's doing all right. But the generator light's off, the oil pressure light's off, so we got oil pressure and we got generator. And those lights do come on, you know, when you stick the key in the ignition and turn it to the on position. I just got my foot a little bit on the gas, keeping the RPMs up a little bit, so she'll stay running. And we'll back off here in a second, see if she'll idle. Well, she is. Idling right away. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and shut her down. Don't want to run her too long before I put the old stop leak in the radiator up there. The old Kool-Aid pitcher. And I am gonna get to those bearings today. Make sure they're okay for the ride home. We'll get to checking on the brakes too. Make sure they're working. Make sure they're gonna stop us. The old quitter pedal down there. It's got some pressure behind it, so I'm hoping they'll be okay. Won't know though until we get the shoes back on this old girl and see if she'll move. I'm gonna get back to work. We'll fill y'all in later. Some time's passed. Shades moved across the ground a little bit further since I've been working here. Fill you in a little bit. I took the bearing caps off, looked at the bearings, spun them around. They sounded pretty good. Wasn't much to see there for you guys. Sorry about that. If we had some problems, we would have brought you in. But everything seemed to be turning pretty freely there. Getting ready to climb in her, close the hood, fire up, and see if we got the old Ford in reverse gears, so that maybe we can go ahead and drive this old girl home. Hopefully this will all work out okay. Well, here goes nothing. Fires right up nicely. Well, we got forward and reverse. We got brakes, at least good enough to try and get home with. I guess I'm gonna turn her off, let her cool off a little bit. Probably go get some more push water in the cans back there to make sure we got enough to get at least to the gas station. I don't know how much I burned. The old fuel gauge isn't working. Have to put a new sending unit in that probably. We'll load the old girl down with the tools and see if we can't drive her home. That push water adventure turned into going back home, picking up a stop switch for the old brake lights, see if we can get them working. But I've also got the missus with me here. She's cleaning up on the old windows, so maybe I can see while we're going down the road. A little extra safety feature there. But we'll bring y'all in, let you see her. We're going to do some last minute stuff here on the old gal here. But here's Mrs. Say hey to him, honey.
Hey, honey.
Well, I'm gonna get back to work wrapping a few things up. The brake light switch is in. We're just gonna, do the old hand method right there. Hopefully they'll work. Hang in there. Hopefully the lights will come on. If not, I'll be using hand signals. Mrs. is gonna be chasing me. It's the benefit of this rodeo being so close to home. But I'll get you guys set up in the window and y'all can take a ride with me. We're all saddled up in the old 66 Buick Special here. We're about to answer that question, at least I've been asking myself for the last 3 days, is this old gal gonna make it home? Well, will she? We're gonna find out, and we'll get on down the road. That old transmission's a little worrisome, to be honest with you. But we'll just have to see what happens. It's kind of what these old rodeos are about, right? Yeah, she's not wanting to grab first there. Come on, girl. Come on. There we go. She's slipping a little bit, but I'm dragging a bunch of stuff. I think that's all the grass and weeds and everything that are in this lot. See if the old girl's gonna pull this hill. She's a-moving. She's a-moving. All right, we're officially out of the lot, y'all. We're gonna pull off on the side right here and turn her off. Go lock the gate up behind the wife, and we're gonna get on the road. we made it home. As you can see, we lost daylight on the way home. A little bit dark out here. Y'all might be having a little trouble seeing me. Hope it comes out pretty well. But the old Buick, she made it home. We stopped a time or two to check on the old transmission fluid and check the temperature on the Kool-Aid there in the system, and she stayed about 190 degrees. Transmission needed topping off once. I think we got a pretty bad leak there. We'll get that taken care of though. But that is what we call a rodeo here at Next Life Garage. Hope you guys enjoyed watching me bring her back to life as much as I enjoyed bringing her back to life. We'll have plenty of stuff coming your way though. We're going to do some cleaning on this one, bring y'all in on that. We've got the 240SX in there we're going to be doing some work on and some tuning on eventually. Get it on the old dyno. Peck away on the computer and see if we can't get her dialed back in. Got a little work to do on Cherry. You know, she's got a front end work needs to be done. The old control arm bushings in her have gone bad. She's got the old death wobble for those of you guys that drives the old Cherokees. We'll be working on Big Karen as well. Like I said, we've got some up pipes we got to do. Got to do an oil cooler. It's leaking. Some upgrades on Big Karen too coming that way. Looking at some tuners for her, get a little more power out of her, make her tow a little better. Putting some gears in her, stepping up tire size, trying to get a little more RPM on the highway for towing purposes. But we'll have plenty coming your way. If you like what we're doing, give us a like there. Go ahead and hit that subscribe bell so that you don't miss anything that we post. We'll have plenty of stuff coming your way. Till next time, don't take no wooden nickels, and be good. Somebody's got to. Gearhead out.